Ignite your passion. Yeah! Yes, sir. Yeah. Register now at firefan.com today. Enter player rewards code TDSS. That's player rewards TDSS. Play the game, fan the fire, earn rewards. Hour number 2 of the Doug Stewart Show, baby. Let's go. It's hour number 2. And welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. The realest, trillest sports and guy talk show in America, man. I implore you, got into a lot of deep conversations yesterday with some people I know about this election, man. This is a real This is a real tangible thing here, man. Please go out and vote, man. This is like the sisters of Alpha Kappa Alpha say. This is a serious matter. This is a serious matter, man. My man 47 Problem. I read the chat yesterday after the show, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. I read the chat yesterday, and I don't know if he's in the chat room today. I can't remember if I've seen his name or not, but he my folk, man. But he mentioned how I had talked about how Hillary and her husband really during Bill Clinton's terms as president, man, he really did a lot of harm to the black community with these mandatory minimum sentences and 3 strikes and all of that stuff, man. If you watch the documentary 13th, you understand exactly what I'm talking about, man. And they spell it out so succinctly in that, it's unbelievable. And so a lot of people feel like my man 47 Problem that they just can't vote for Hillary. You know, they know they can't vote for Donald Trump because, you know, they're sane. I mean, any sane person could see that. But then they also can't get themselves, or they can't force themselves to vote for Hillary either. I'm just saying, man, I think that's wrong. I think that's wrong. I think you have to vote for somebody. You have to. If you don't vote for one, it's in effect giving a vote for the other person. Please go out and vote, man. And let your conscience be your guide. When you get in that little voting booth or whatever, man, and you think about your hate and your disdain for both of these candidates, which one of them do you have a slight less hate and disdain for? You know, I mean, that's what I ask you. You know, I ask you to vote because, listen, people have died for the right for us to vote. Okay? Died, literally and figuratively. So I think not voting is not even an option. It's not even an option, okay? So if you have to vote, yes, I agree with you. You know, this is the greatest time in the history of this election, of this country, to be a Democrat or the Democratic side of the ticket. You know, I think in any other election, under any, you know, against any formidable Republican candidate, Hillary would lose. Any other time, she would, and I would get it. I would totally understand it, you know. But this is the exact one time in the history of this country where even she can't lose or shouldn't lose. You understand what I'm saying? Like, any other time, if she would have ran, you know, and she would have been the Democratic, you know, nominee back in 2012, not Barack, in 2012 or 2008 and it wasn't Barack, or 2004, you know, or 2000. She would probably lose against any Republican candidate they had. But this year, the Republican candidate is an imbecile. So she's got a chance. You know, and if you're young, if you're a greenhorn, you probably never heard that word imbecile before. That's a word they used to throw around a lot on the Three Stooges. Some 40-something years ago, 50-something years ago. You imbecile. Donald Trump's an imbecile. It's as simple as that. He's an imbecile, okay? He's an imbecile. He's sexist. He's narcissistic. I talked about this in a little video I did the other day. So, I mean, just vote where your heart is, man. I'm not going to tell you outright who you should vote for or not. I'm just giving you kind of like those context clues that they used to have in elementary school. One person is an imbecile. One person is an imbecile. The other person isn't quite an imbecile. It's as simple as that. Welcome back to the Doug Stewart Show. My man Cedric Galloway, who was first in the chat room today on the Doug Stewart Show, he says, well, I voted yesterday 2 hours and 20 minutes in the line. Oh, yeah. Yeah, that was part and parcel of what my video was about I did on Facebook a couple of days ago. Yeah, people out there voting in huge numbers way ahead of time. It's almost like they want to make sure. They don't want to leave nothing up to chance. Maybe there's a storm on election day. Maybe their car breaks down or whatever. So they're going out and they're voting in huge numbers early, like I've never seen before. And I haven't seen any stories or read any stories about, if the numbers are actually up for early voting this year as compared to other election years. But I'm just telling you, it took me an hour and 20 minutes. And I always vote early. And it took me an hour and 20 minutes, which normally takes me no more than 10 in years past. So people are going out there and voting. And in particular, in the line that I was voting for, they all look like they were voting for Trump. Yeah. So I'm just saying, you don't act like, oh, my vote doesn't count. We talk about this every time there's an election, and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show. You need to go out there and vote. You need to go out there and vote. From Texas Ty, he says, it's funny, all this is talking that went one between Obama's and Clinton's 4 years ago, but now they're cool and we're supposed to forget what they said. Well, they're towing the party line, though. That's what they do in politics. I mean, what? You saw an example of that a couple of months ago. Ted Cruz, Ted Cruz was vilified because he wouldn't, throw his support behind Donald Trump. And guess what he did? He came back to life, back to reality, and he supported him. He gave him his endorsement. That's what they do. I don't get it either, Texas Ty. I don't get it how you can just forget everything that somebody said about you a couple of days ago and just act like it never happened. I don't get it either, but come on. That's politics. From Sidney Fiffer Ripple Jackson. I love that name, Sidney Fiffer Ripple Jackson. He's got a picture of the Ripple bottle up here as well. He says, back in the day, the candidates would say, I'm going to shoot all you ninjas. The other candidates would say, I'm going to hang all you ninjas. And we would have to choose which one is going to hurt us less. Exactly. I mean, you couldn't put it more better than that. You're exactly right, Sidney Jackson. My question to you is, or my statement, my rebuttal to you is, and, that's the way it is. It's not fair. It doesn't seem like that. None of these candidates have our interest in. I guess when you say you talk about us, you're talking about black people. It doesn't seem like, or for the most part, we've always known that none of these politicians really have our interests at heart. It's always been voting for the lesser two evils. Now, this year is kind of skewed, okay, because both candidates purportedly are very, very bad. Clearly, Donald Trump is very, very bad, and Hillary Clinton has done a lot of scandalous, things that are on record. But this is no different than any other year for black people. We've always voted for the lesser two evils. So I don't understand why this year is any different. I'm not going to vote. I'm not going to vote. What the hell you mean you're not going to vote? You probably got somebody in your family that got the dog sick on them back in the 60s. And you talk about not voting? Come on, man. That's not an option, man. Come on. Y'all are intelligent. Andre Elam, in my opinion, the reason we need to vote is to get the seats in the House and the Senate, which is very important. That's the biggest thing about this whole damn thing. Forget all of the issues, that you don't want Donald Trump voting on. The next president is going to be afforded the opportunity to nominate Probably, they're saying, 2 Supreme Court justices, which the effects of their tenure as a judge, as a Supreme Court judge, will last for as long as they live and as long as they're on the Supreme Court. Huh? You heard the comment from Ruth Bader Ginsburg a couple of weeks ago. You probably read about it and you're listening to the Doug Stewart Show, where she was just totally offended by this whole Black Lives Matter. And that lady has been a Supreme Court justice forever. Think about that. Oh, yeah. And she's a Democrat. She's a Democrat, and she came out of the side of her neck a couple of weeks ago. Subsequently, she's apologized. That's what they all do. They realized after the fact that they shot their mouth off and they apologize, i.e., Dabo Sweeney, i.e., Jim Harbaugh. So she came out the side of her neck talking about the Black Lives Matter thing is stupid. This is a lady making law and ruling on cases that have long-term effects. And that's how she felt about Black Lives Matter. And she's been on the Supreme Court forever. Okay? So whoever is the next president is going to have the opportunity to appoint a couple of Ruth Bader Ginsburgs. Probably. Yeah. I mean, come on, man. And how did I even get into this, man? I mean, damn. I didn't even intend to do this. How did I even get to this? How did I even get to this? I don't know, but it's okay, man. The bottom line is, let me calm down. I got my blood pressure up 2 times a day. I mean, damn. From that ninja, he says, one candidate is going to use lubrication while saying nice things to you and stroking your back before strapping the other candidate is just going to come in and start pounding away regardless of how you feel about it. Either way, you getting effed. That's a true statement. Probably that's a true statement. And the famous words of Tony Soprano, what are you going to do? What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Huh? I'm asking. What are you going to do? I mean, I'm just asking. What you going to do, huh? That's a great analogy, Ninja. But what are you going to do? Entertainment coming up next.
The sleeper pick. The guy only you believe in. In 1 week fantasy football on DraftKings, he can be the difference. So trust your gut. Trust your numbers. Trust your Uncle Vito if you want. But know this, that sleeper is out there. The question is, who's going to play him? This is DraftKings. Welcome to the big time.
To create your account, click on the banner link on thedougsstewartshow.com or the Doug Stewart Show app. Do you have your own radio show? Are you an artist or a DJ? BB Mobile Apps is the solution for you. They specialize in creating mobile apps for entertainers. That's right. You can have your own mobile app where your followers can hear your shows or music, watch your videos, and view all your social networks in one place. You can even make money with banner ads and send push notifications directly to your audience to make sure they get your messages. Everyone has their phones on them, right? A mobile app will add credibility to your brand because your content will be accessible to them while they're on the go. BV Mobile Apps also makes apps for bloggers, actors, and producers. The process only takes about 20 minutes. Just go to bbmobileapps.com and click Get Started Now. That's bbmobileapps.com and tell them the Doug Stewart Show sent you. There's a storm coming. a firestorm. Get ready to raise your game because watching sports will never be the same. Introducing Fire Fan. It's a